Previously on Danganronpa.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Yeah, I'm with Byakuya on this one. I know him and I have been at odds, but like, geez, man.
Okay, so then, who's the real
What a waste
victim?
of time.
First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Alright, so let's identify this victim. Let's do it. I still think it's like a dummy. That's what I think. Because we have, like, I think it would be a real damn shame for them to introduce a new character and then, like, that character doesn't talk or, like, really interact with, like, the collective as a group, you know? Everything starts from here or there. Everything starts from there. Make your argument. Fragments next to the bodies, body analysis, fake nails. I'm gonna go with tattoo on the right hand. Has to be this one. It has to be this one. We've already done fake nails.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
I think it's the second one we want to argue. We need to find out who the victim was before we can do anything else.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, hit the thing!
Then there's nothing else we can do,
Oh my god.
If Kyoko really is still alive,
Actually, we can...
then who died?
There's gotta be some... I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition.
Oh, okay.
Shoot!
I actually skipped ahead. I didn't skip ahead.
Kyoko really is still
I wanted to go
alive.
with the
Then
second
who
one,
died?
not
There's
the...
gotta be... I don't think so. The face... And there wasn't any
Yeah, we wanted to go
description in
with
the
the second one.
Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
Oh no.
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
We're so bad. These little things are getting in the friggin' way.
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
There we
No,
go.
it's wrong.
No, that's wrong! That was a pain in the ass.
There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
What?
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto.
Hero is also
Tell us
just
what you're
being
talking
stupid.
about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Seriously? They really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
If you compare the tattoo to other information we have, the victim's identity should become clear. What else do we have? Body that was found, knife in the heart. I'm probably gonna go with Bakuru Ikasaba's profile.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
I keep saying Bakuru, don't I? Mukuru.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is... I think it's a wolf. Well, I don't think it's a wolf. I know it's a wolf. The Wolf of Ragnarok.
Now I understand.
Now I understand.
The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
It'd also just be another member of that squad. And she just, like, has their bodies.
What?
Just saying.
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Oh, interesting. Could Monokuma so we've established that Monokuma has to follow rules, right? Is it possible that Monokuma has actually killed this person?
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a coup-last trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
It's also
Maybe
the
we
ultimate
shouldn't have
soldier.
been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
Yep.
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Maybe, maybe not.
Who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character?
I mean, she hasn't really been in the game this entire time,
Which
Byakuya.
would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
Is Kyoko the headmaster? Is Kyoko the headmaster, and Monokuma did something to her body to make her forget who she was originally? So, like, halfway through the game, she thought she was a student until she realized who she actually was?
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost.
No, Monokuma. No.
Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
I want to know this now.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
Based on what we know, there can only be 2 suspects. Toko and Genocide Jack, Mukuro and the Headmaster, Makoto and Kyoko. We're the only ones who don't know, like, who were not around, really.
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Because we don't have alibis.
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there.
Yeah, but if you're the only one there, your story needs to be collaborated.
So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The 4 of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the 4 of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it! I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, he can also place Kyoko at the scene, in his
Well,
room.
before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
It was around 9,
The one who
9:30?
saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
And the body wasn't wet, so it had to have been placed after 7 when the things go off.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Oh, well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so probably not on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
Which is funny because so Makoto gets to the gym. We've established that Makoto gets to the gym around 7:30. It then took them 2.5 hours from the cafeteria. I said the gym. Yeah, from the cafeteria to the gym. And then at 9 o'clock, she decides to she went to go get the pickaxe, right? If I remember correctly, there was like some weird time. Like, it took him like he woke up at 7. It took him a half an hour to get to the cafeteria. And then it took him 2.5 hours with Hina to get to the gym. So it's just funny that like he told her to go get that and be back by 9:01, considering how time flies in this Friggin'
So we
school.
can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Outside of sleeping, like a normal person. The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Okay, it looks like this game has begun. If I can't provide an alibi for that period, I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time. I don't have an alibi. Easy. The murder took place after 7:30. Going with sprinklers.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think.
I should think.
So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Alright. These things took place in the garden, right? If I remember, there's something that happens in the morning at a certain time. So I'm going to go with sprinklers at the 7:30 argument.
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Oh no! What did I do? Why did I just press that button for?
Time to commit murder, I should think.
This is easy.
So Makoto, if
you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established a time. It took place somewhere between and 9 o'clock. Yep.
And Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
What?
It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock.
All right, here we go.
No,
Whew.
it's wrong. Actually,
I guess we're contradicting
the
that
murder
it took
couldn't
place
have
that
happened
far,
anywhere near
that late
10
at night.
o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right?
Yeah.
So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Oh, so that's why that makes sense. Why only half the body. I was like, that's not
Sorry,
really that
Kyoko,
important.
but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How?
Are we doing a bullet time battle with
Are
Kyoko
you
now?
saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words?
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
The crazy thing is there's people out there like
If
this.
you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. Alright. Okay, bullet time.
I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No!
Alright, we might have two.
How can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
This should prove it.
I think it's that. Burn body analysis.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
First off, I'm really proud of myself for the bullet time battle there. Although she didn't counter at all, which I didn't really think that she would. It's possible that we'll get another bullet time battle that will be even harder later on, but
I'm so sick of her.
pretty proud of that. I remembered how to reload. That was good.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because
You put a bucket of water on her.
while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
Right, which would clear Makoto, but not
But
Kyoko.
Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
Right.
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
Good for
In
you.
which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Okuro's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone?
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
Someone's got to go.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko?
It's possible Kyoko, this is like a, I don't want to spoil the movies for people, but Shutter Island situation?
But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
What, Kyoko?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Oh, with the tarp?
Interesting. I'm listening.
And the tarp was then removed. But the problem, yeah, because the top of the tarp was all clean and everything, but the bottom was dirty.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
A certain something. Don't help her, Makoto.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
The bottom of it was
You
dirty.
catch on quick.
So that would make the body itself
You're
dirty,
right.
and it wasn't.
All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean.
That seems ass backwards, if you ask me.
This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
Why would the top of the tarp not get cleaned from the sprinkler
Why
system?
would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make it look make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. The tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Oops. Oh no, another bullet time battle? No, okay. Whew. Look, I'm not ready for that. This one's gonna be hard, I think.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
There has to be a clue hidden in the tarp somewhere. I think I might have to steal
By
it.
covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
I have 6 minutes. This is gonna be tough, though. There has to be a clue hidden in the tarp somewhere.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be honest. I have to take one of these 3 things and argue it against the other.
It's because that side was protected from the water.
I have absolutely no idea. Me too.
Of course it didn't get dirty.
No, okay. So that was my original thing that I think I was gonna do, but we could also use
By
body
covering
before the
body with
explosion.
the tarp,
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Boom.
No,
Okay.
that's wrong.
Woo! I'll say the body. I thought we were gonna. Yeah.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it.
This actually is more obvious now that I took time to actually think about it. Because originally I usually let things go through, right, the first time, and then based off of like what they say, I go, okay, well, this is what we need to talk about. But there needs to be a contradiction or clue hidden within the tarp, so that may let me think that like, oh, maybe these 3 things about the tarp, you know, being clean on one side, dirty on one side, or whatever. I had to steal one of those to use it against it. But then I actually thought that I didn't actually read the bullet that I had loaded up, which was about the body pre-explosion. I was thinking of like, oh, we've already used this one, so it's like all these options are not going to be. But then I actually have to read it again. I was like, okay.
Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right?
Right.
Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
The chicken! Huh? The blood was camouflaged? Yes!
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like...
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office.
Possible.
That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
But that's not what happened here.
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Oh my goodness. I wonder what it could have been. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon. Stop by Premiere Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at 2 p.m. EDT right here for more Danganronpa content. Until next time, go forth the rest of your day, make it a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.